Hey guys, back with another video. Today we're doing what if Natsu had firestorm. Now guys, I know. It's a 3K, and it should be the 3K special. Well, it is a 3K special because in one of the later days, the good old days, I got suggestion to do a Natsu what if, but again, this was when my mindset was, yo, I only do Naruto this, so calm down. And now that I've reached my goal, because I didn't really have any goal in the beginning, because I didn't really care about y'all subscribers, but I should have a goal now. But my goal is not more or less on subscribers. It's more or less on views, because I want the views, not the fucking subscribers. You can get that shit out of my face. But anyways, good news coming. I'll be doing not the Naruto what if Naruto was neglected, guys. Yeah, what if Naruto was neglected to the Shippuden, to the God arc, probably. From where I left off, going into Shippuden, they're going into the God arc, and then I'm finishing that, because I'm not finishing the what if, and then I'm stop recording, because I'm not like that. And then, but before that, there will be a new what if, which I will post what the what if is. Well, it's a Attack on Titan what if, so, there you go. And by the way, this what if in particular is like, and I have spoiler warnings, because I read the manga. I'm reading the manga. Like, I'm not finished it. I don't know if the manga's finished at this point. I'm just reading the manga at this point. And there's some stuff that I see, but I didn't see in the anime, so I'm gonna like say something different. Well, not say something different. So I'll just warn you, if you feel like you don't want to, so skip the first part of this. Well, look a few minutes in, because I think I'll be spoiling some stuff. I don't know. If you're an anime only watcher, I haven't seen an anime, so that's what I'm saying. It's not there. But if it is an anime, you can tell me down below. Doesn't really matter. So we're gonna start this with if at a giant, a titan, not an Attack on Titan, a a Greek mythology titan. This, damn it, my fucking, it doesn't work. Don't worry about that. Sorry. This titan in particular is a the child of the fire titan and the lightning titan, making, and well, the storm titan. Sorry. No, it would be lightning titan. No, it's storm. I can do all of them. Alright. The son of the fire titan and the storm titan. That's why it's firestorm magic capture. So this titan was huge, but the distinctive parts of this titan was its chest. His chest was engulfed with a black and purple flame, where his arms were completely made out of lightning, and his feet were lightning. But well, his feet were lightning also. His eyes, one eye was just covered in lightning, and the other was just covered in a black and purple fire. If you didn't get the thing that, if you didn't get it, like the lightning is also black and purple. I just notify you of that, because I realized I didn't say in the script. So sorry. So this titan was just wandering around the place, and he's just wandering. He's just like, hey, fuck that noise. I'm trying to die. because he's lived for multiple, multiple years. Like it's ridiculous at this point. He's done with life. He's seen humans come and go. He's seen so much that he's just fed up at this point. He's like, okay, I need to die. And he at one point had a lover, but he outlived that lover. So he's like, okay, nope, mm. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with all of this. I'm done with all that life. But I think I'll give my power to someone else. So he goes into his giant cave and he sits down and he takes out his weapon. It was a long katana. There was a purple like design in the middle, where the katana was completely black. The handle was a black handle, like all others, and but when he extended it, the three parts of the sword began to glow, and chains. When he swung it around, chains came out, connecting all the three parts together, and then he stopped the swinging, and the sword became whole again. He then cut off one of his arms and then opened and then started to mold it. Actually, started to mold it until it became a child him. And then he plunged the sword right through his heart, and he started to fade away and disappear into nothingness, even with the sword. Now we skipped over to a boy being born with pink hair with blue eyes, but there was something weird about his eyes. Unlike his parents, his eyes basically had nothing in them but this one slit. But after that, there was nothing. Yeah, his eyes are much like Bond's eyes from Seven Deadly Sins, where there's just this one slit in it, and it doesn't have any like pupil. It doesn't have anything around the slit. It's just like that slit there. And but other than this child was really really handsome, and if he, even as a baby, because remember, he's a Titan. Well, he has the power of a Titan. I'll explain it later. And then tragedy struck a few years after he was born. Now this time, Natsu was the older brother, and the Dark Woods, I can't remember his name at this point, was the younger brother. But it's not by too much since they were kind of twins, so yeah, it's not by that much. But in the attack, Natsu and his parents still die, and Natsu's old younger brother goes to goes master adventuring and this is shit, and he finally recreates Natsu with making have him have the body of a make him have the body of a human and the blood of a demon. But something was wrong. He then realized that he needed to create a soul, but for some reason, the body got a soul without him doing anything. Then a light became at the side of the tube that Natsu was in, and then he asked, "What is this?" And the light said, "This is a program to answer any questions you may have of this specimen or life form." And he would ask what happened to his brother, because he's like, what the fuck? And then the light basically says that your brother, or what was supposed to be your original brother's soul, came into this body and decided to stay there. So Natsu's soul came right back to that soul. And he started to ask, why are you here? The light says that this is his race now is called superior human. He has the body of a human, the soul of a human, with the power and blood of the power the power of a titan and the blood of a demon. Hold on. Sorry, guys. So Natsu goes over and so so his brother is shocked and says that's incredible. And he's adoring his brother now. He's like, damn, my brother is strong. He's a superior human. Huh. And then after a few days, Natsu was released from the tank that he was in. Um, and his brother started to play around with him because this Natsu kind of remembered him because that was his twin. So he's like, So this Natsu knows his name off the bat, and this Natsu, like, kind of remembers him. And he's happy because, like, originally he was just gonna recreate his brother to fill a hole in his heart, but he eventually got back his brother, not in his original body, but in their body, no less, like his original memories, his original bond with him. So he's happy. At first he just made this thing to like fill a hole in his heart, but now it's just amazing at this point. But after time, Natsu's brother notices something that Natsu has a bigger purpose in this world than just to play around with him. He accepts that his brother is a superior human. He accepts that he that what he is doing is bad, and he knows that his brother should just be here to rest in peace. But now that he's alive, he has a bigger purpose in life now, and he erases Natsu's memories of him and everything else, and leaves. Leaves him with Dragnil. Not Dragnil. The fire dragon. And this is where the fire dragon starts raising Natsu. And Natsu's brother remembered something. Their family, the Dragnil family, was very rich, and there was other members other than his father, him, and Natsu. There's other members, but they were distant members. So after he was probably proclaimed dead, which he did forge that he died a few years ago, that the Dragnil family would get what they had. So he's not really bothered by it because they were actually kind people, so he didn't really care. But they do know about Natsu, and they always had a portrait of Natsu, like he straight up notifying who Natsu was, but they didn't know he was alive. So yeah, Dragnil did end up giving Natsu the scarf, and Natsu's brother left off clothes for him that he made out of Natsu's hair and blood, and some of his skin. But we don't know about that, okay? Some of his blood and skin. And Dragnil was supposed to give it to him, which he eventually did. And I will tell you about his thing, yeah, because he won't be wearing it. He'll be wearing what he normally wear, but he'll be changing it up when he got older. And this is where technically they went forward into the future. Technically, if you don't know the manga, they technically went in the future. It's a lot of confusing shit that happened. So yeah. So this is where they were transported in the future, and all the dragons just went missing one day, and Natsu feels alone again, and this is where something happens in his mind. He forgets about Dragnil. Well, parts of forgetting about him. He remembers meeting Dragnil. He remembers that he's a demon slayer, not a dragon slayer. He remembers a little bit about Natsu, about the fire dragon, and he forget, but he did forget the time that they spent together. And he wants to reclaim those memories because out of the blue, he just forgot of them. And but he does still have the scarf, but he kind of wears the scarf on his like. It's more like a belt to him because he wears the scarf on his waist instead of like wearing it how he's normally supposed to. But anyways, so he goes over. So he wanders and he ends up in a forest one day. And Natsu is incredibly strong because remember he has the power of a titan. He has insane physical strength, speed, durability. Oh, and he's technically immortal. I forgot to notice. And Natsu has a scar on his left side, which is actually the exact copy of Bond's scar from the Seven Deadly Sins. It's legit the same exact fucking scar. Like it's legit. That's what it is. The way he got it though was an accident. He fell off like the mountain thing they were on, and a rock kind of slit him, which was rare because whenever Natsu got a cut, it kind of just went away after a time. But this time, it didn't. But there was a reason for this. The emotional, the feeling he had when he was getting the scar. The dragon, or the fire dragon, was trying to help him and make sure he didn't die, which he eventually did, but Natsu saw that he really cared about him. Like, really, really, really did. So that's a mortal scar that he can't heal. But after a while, two people, one had pink long hair, which was a woman, and the other had black hair. The woman had blue eyes, and the other one had kind of greenish eyes. I'm not gonna give them names because I'm gonna forget about them in a few seasons. They're plot holes for me. There are people that I can just do whatever I felt like with them. They found Natsu and they take out a picture of the original Natsu. Well, not the original, but the Natsu. You know what I'm talking about. And they look at him, look at the picture, look back at him, and they're like, that is the exact same person with just a scar on their face. Like, they're like, God damn, that's the exact same person. And they talk to Natsu and ask him his name, and Natsu says Natsu Dragnil. So guys, as you realize, I actually remember the main character's name this one, because if you didn't get the joke, in my first Fire Force video, I couldn't remember Shinra's last name. So yeah guys. Fun fact. Anyways, and they're like, damn, this is the exact same person. And they start asking him about his life. And he's like, I can't remember much. I don't remember much of anything. I just woke up one day, which is actually true because he's been forgetting memories frequently. But he didn't want to tell them about the dragon because all the dragon disappeared and he doesn't know what the fuck is going on. So he's like, I'll figure out later. And these people pick him up in his arms and they tell him, well, the woman tells him, that my name is Ursa Dragnil. Yeah, I'm actually gonna give them names. Don't worry. The man is not gonna get a name because he's not important to me. So, anyways, she picks him up and holds him, and they go off. Cause remember, he still has like the bag. He has a bag full of his clothes, that his brother made for him. So he's stacked, right? So Natsu just they take him home in their own personal train, and oh no, they take him home on the boat because I don't think they existed yet. Anyways, not it existed at the point. I mean, like it hadn't existed when Natsu was a child. Or there wasn't more restrictions, so I don't know. So they take him on a ship, and he starts to get seasick, or motion sickness, whatever you want to say. He starts to get really sick, not sick, but like really bothered about it because I just where his like he starts to cough, and like lightning, black and purple lightning, and black and purple fire just starts coming out of his mouth. He's coughing, and he throws up black, black and purple, and black and purple, respectively, lightning and fire. So he's like, okay. So they're like, okay, yeah, you motion sick. So they carry him over to like the railing, so he can actually throw up, and the fire is staying on the water, so it's not extinguishing, and also the lightning is staying there. So they're like, damn, that's gonna be a problem for someone else, but not us. So they keep going. And after a while, Natsu goes to sleep, and Ursa, or Ursa Dragnil. This is not Ursa, the original Ursa. This is an Ursa. It's a different Ursa, and you'll know why I did this if you saw the thumbnail. Everyone's gonna see the thumbnail. You know why I'm doing this, but like, anyways. So they finally make it, and they wake up Natsu, and this go to this town, and this town is called Dragnil Town. And after a while, Natsu goes, and they carry him to this castle, this huge castle. And they go in, and Natsu sees a picture of him in a dead max smack middle when he enters. A big ass picture of him, minus the scar. And he's like, the fuck? And he's like, god damn. Because Natsu doesn't age as fast as she's supposed to be. And he kind of just looks the exact same, but with the scar, but a little bit older too. And they're like, god damn it, that's me without my scar. And so they're like, okay, and they dress him up, they put him in proper clothes, and on time skip, Natsu has learned how to read, write, and all the other stuff. And he goes, and they go on a vacation to some island, which is completely part of, near to the fairy tale guild. Don't worry about it, anyways. So they go over there. They start having a vacation, but tragedy struck, and Natsu's new mother and father died. It was a demon attack, and the demon hit him, but he didn't die. But he hit his head, forgetting them and everything else, except his knowledge and his strength. Because he has been training, and so he just wakes up one day again, and he's just like, he knows he lost his memory, but he's like, what the fuck? And he's like, why does this happen to me? Why me? And he can't find his mother and father because they're dead and been eaten. But they're he's devastated at this point, and he just wanders off in the forest. He still has his bag with him because I kind of need him to have that. So he has his bag with him, and he's just training in the forest, and he's shooting fire and lightning and multiple other stuff, and this is where the guild master comes over, and he sees Natsu, and he starts to come frequently, and they begin to have a father-son bond, not a grandfather bond, a father-son bond with him. And Natsu's a bit hesitant to do this because he's afraid that he'll forget him, but the man assures him that even if he forgets him, he'll always find a way back. And Natsu, these are words of wisdom, right? These are words of wisdom. So he listens, right? And he really respects him, like really, almost to the point where it's too much. But anyways, so this is where he finally tells him about the fairy tale. So there's been a few months after this, and this is where he finally tells Natsu about fairy tale and how about fairy tale is blah blah blah, how it is, what it does, and this is where Natsu would go to the fairy tale, and for the first time ever, he would decide to put on the clothes that his brother made him. But here's the thing. Natsu forgot two memories of his, but he only remembered bits of one. So the first memory he forgot was about his brother, and he knows he forgets about that because he can't remember after a certain point. He can remember slightly about the fire dragon, and he forgot his parents completely. So, well, his new parents. Anyways, so it's been like that. So Natsu now is technically, if you want to count his when he was in him as a Titan, because that's his reincarnation. Him as a Titan, 100 no 4,003,045,000 years old. That's how old. That's how old Natsu is technically. But if I remove the 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 Titan years, he is 500 plus years, because I don't know the exact amount how old Natsu is technically. So yeah, he's actually 500 plus years at this point. Well, he hasn't lived out those 500 plus years, but 500 plus years. So this is where he goes to the fairy tale guild, and this is the first time he puts on his outfit. Well, the first parts of his outfit. He doesn't feel like wearing certain parts yet. The first part of his outfit, well, now I gotta make him wear the full outfit. It doesn't matter. So Natsu is rocking a skin tight shirt with elbow guards, and a skin tight shirt at his wrist. He's wearing a cloth on his waist, which is a lot like Sasuke's, but ends above his knee. And he ties it with his scarf, with his like dragon skill scarf thing, and he ties it around his waist. Where he wears long shinobi shoes that end at his under the just under the just under his knee, and he's wearing a Ambo style pants, and he wears a red leather jacket with the cheetah print, just like Ban. So yeah, I kind of making him like Ban in this one, but only in certain parts of his clothes. So so the jacket is always open, so you can see his chest and see his defined muscular figure, and he walks in like this, and everyone just looks at him because first, man's is hot AF, pause, no homo. Two, man's look strong as fuck and can get all the bitches, even some men, pause, no homo. Forward going on, and he has a sword strapped at the back of his waist. It's in between his scarf, so it's like that. So it's like how Sasuke put his sword, and the cloth is like Sasuke's cloth that he had wrapped around his waist with the rope thingy. Yeah, it's like that. So this is where they start talking to Asta and Mary Jane, which is what I'm gonna call her, because I think her name is Melly Jane or something. I'll call her Mary Jane because that's the only way I can remember her name because Spider Man. Um, the only way I can remember her name. So yeah, and the jacket, the jacket kind of ends at his the middle of his stomach, so it's open and it ends at the middle of his stomach, right? I forgot to mention that. So it's exactly like Bond's jacket in season after coming out to Purgatory, but the sleeves end ends at just above the elbow, just above. Yeah. Hold on, guys. So this is where Mary Jane and Mary Jane's younger sister walk up to Natsu, and they start talking to him, and Natsu start talking to them, and this is where Mary Jane and Natsu's sister start to kindle their feelings towards Natsu. Natsu. So a few years passed, and they and Natsu is proven to be one of the most skilled of the first floor first floor first floor guild members. So Natsu's father, which is now the guild captain, because the old man kind of adopted Natsu at this point. So Natsu is should technically be the inheritor of the guild. But the thing is, Natsu kind of doesn't want that to happen because he kind of doesn't really kind of care about that. He wants to help his father because he respects him a lot. But if his father directly told him to lead the Fairy Tale Guild, he would. But if he didn't really mention it, he kind of wouldn't want to. But everyone wants him to because like he's strong and he's wise and he's understanding. So they're like, damn, that's a perfect candidate right there. Like, damn. And if he doesn't decide to do it, it's gonna be Laxarist, whatever that. I'm gonna call him Lightning Boy. Although, hold on, guys, hold on for a bit. Yeah. Sorry guys, my grandmother wanted me. Okay. So Natsu is considered one of the strongest, like one of the strongest the first four members. And at this time, one of Lightning Boy is actually not the second is not on the second floor yet because he's Natsu's age. He's about 5, so he's really weak at this point. But Natsu is one of the strongest. Not if the only person that might be able is some random guy, but he's nearly the strongest, right? So Natsu is like Natsu. So Mary Jane and her sister is like infatuated with Natsu, and Natsu tells him outright that he is not the type of guy to like have more than one girl. Like he says it plain and simple. He's not that type. He's not the type just to have one girl, and they accept that. They accept that wholeheartedly. They're like, okay, who cares? When you're that far, you can't have one girl. Fuck that noise. So they're like, no homo. So I'm like, no homo, but not they're like, no homo. So like, yeah. So they understand, and Natsu just walks away. And a few days later, he goes on a mission, and this is where he goes on a mission, and he finds this girl with red hair with one eye missing, and Natsu goes over there, jumps down there, and saves her from like falling in some water. And she was basically ready to die at that point. She was like, "Hey, I'm gonna die. So what's the point of struggling?" Until she felt Natsu hold her, and then she looked up with her one good eye, and looked at Natsu, seeing this scrumptious man in front of her, no homo, and she just gets a blush instantly on her face. She's she's overwhelmed with feelings before. She didn't even know she had these feelings before, like, and Natsu answers her name, and she says it is Ursa, and Natsu kind of gets a flash of his mother. I mean, he kind of has feelings for her, but kind of does that at the same time. It's pretty weird for him, so he carries her back to the place, and they still go to that magic woman, and they still like get her eye fixed. And this is how Ursa came to the Fairy Tale Guild. And Ursa trained to become strong for Natsu, and that's how it's gonna go on. Now, Ursa realized that Natsu is, although his tender age of technically I say technically 7, he is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, of the first 4 guild members. So Natsu goes out one day and he finds an egg. And he picks it up. And when he was going back to the Fairy Tale Guild, he saw Mary Jane's sister with an egg too. And he looks at her, and she looks at him, and they nod at each other like a symbol of we are our parents now. Like, that's the gang, and we are parents now, so we had to raise our kids. So that's their whole mindset at this point. So they're like, hey, toughness, and they still make that little hut, and this time Mary Jane, because Mary Jane is Natsu and her sister's age, so they're kind of twins, but like Mary Jane is a little bit older, and she still has that tough personality. So she's a really aggressive flirter with um with Natsu. She's really aggressive when flirting with him, because remember her when she was younger, and in a flashback she used to be real aggressive with her demon magic thingy. So she basically was a goth, that had anger issues. So that was her whole like setup, right? And Natsu was just there, just chilling, and Mary Jane came and they started to look after the eggs. And this after a while, Ursa came and started looking after eggs too. So all of them are just like a big whole bumptious family. So they're going, and one day, um, Mary Jane's sister comes out and tells him that the eggs are hatching, and Natsu, Mary Jane, Ursa run towards the hut, and they see it is hatching. All two eggs are hatching, and the first egg just opens and sees this blue cat. It's blue cat and with wings. Wait, with wings, yeah, with wings. And then the other one starts hatching, and then it starts cracking and cracking more, and water starts like coming out of it, like water, and then it breaks, and this wolf with blue fur with white patches in the fur just looks at at um at Natsu, and both of them have this intense stare, like it's intense stare, and the wolf just like kind of barks, but like in a cute way, and just runs towards him, and Natsu just opens his arm though, like the dog, the wolf kind of hugs Natsu, and then it turns like really, and then it just goes on Natsu's neck, and it licks Natsu's face, so it turns smaller, and just went on Natsu's face, and Natsu just happy, but he remembers something. He feels a very good familiarity with this wolf, and that's will go. So in the back of his mind, a memory comes up, and we see the Titan, the storm, the firestorm Titan, looking at this wolf and saying Susanoo. And yeah, that's the wolf's name, Susanoo, like the sea god, the water god, Susanoo, the sea god, whatever you want to call him, Susanoo, him, yeah. Natsu goes over and he goes and he calls it Susanoo. Not knowing where he got the name from, but likes the name in general, and says Susanoo, and the dog barks and notifying that he likes the name. So Susanoo, if you didn't really guess, was the reincarnation of the dog that the previous Firestorm Titan had. So it reincarnated and found, well, the egg technically found Natsu, which was the reincarnation of the Firestorm Titan. Blah blah blah. Now, I think his name was Happy. I think the cat name was Happy. I don't know. I don't care. It's not relevant because meh. And the dog, or the wolf, can actually float. So yeah. So he goes up and they start petting Susanoo and Happy, and they go home and show everyone, and Natsu kind of calls it a dragon sometimes. And the painting still happens, and they still paint him as the dragon, and paint Happy as a dragon, and Natsu as a dragon serpent-like creature. Because remember, there's two types of dragon. There's like the medieval dragons, and then there's the Chinese dragon, which is like only has the tiny arms, but like the medieval dragon has like the wings and all some other fucking shit. I don't really give a fuck. So Natsu goes over there and he's like, bet, bet, bet. And he, so time skip, and Natsu is he's just OP at this point. Like, he's learned how to use Firestorm magic to a point, and he doesn't know he can go further, but he does feel like he shouldn't, because he realizes that
every time he goes further and further, he becomes more scientist. 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 Okay, scientist. And if you know what I meant, like he likes to torture people. So he's more happy about torturing and killing people. He's more happy about it. He's more peppy. Like, oh, you gonna die, and I will laugh at it, peppy. He's like that sometimes, and it's not his main emotion. But this is where I'm gonna end this video, guys. This is gonna fit. This is where I'm gonna end this off. This the time that you liked it, and the next what if will probably come out, which I'll post, and I'll post why I can bring out this what if. So see you guys. Have a great day, and remember. Give me that views.